My golf performance enhancement business started out because I used to be a competitive golfer. Clearly not the best at it because I'm not playing golf for a living anymore. I grew up with Ernie Els and Retief Goosen in South Africa, so I played high-level junior golf and amateur golf in South Africa. And I decided to go more the college route and finished my degree in psychology and then a master's degree in psychology. And I just started specializing in psychological performance at first, and then I started realizing that there are things that you eat and drink that affect the psychology or the performance of your thoughts and your patterns and your concentrations and your glycemic control. And then I started to combine the two. So I'm one of the very few, if not the only person in the world working with professional golfers on tours that we look actually at the nutritional psychological overlap, not just having them as two separate components. I think the same systems that I use in clinical practice is what I'm using in athletes, and I think the biggest misconception in the world is the fact that people think that athletes are these super healthy people. They're actually extremely unhealthy. Most of them are overtrained. Most of them actually have gastric distress because they're mostly in a fight or flight state because of athletic competition. They're not recovering properly. They're not sleeping properly. So yeah, it comes back to the same things. These people end up with cortisol imbalances. They end up with imbalances in blood sugar, and it's basically treated on the same concepts. It's just a little bit easier sometimes to sell it at the professional level because those people are more willing to spend the money to do all the tests. Sometimes our hands are cut off in the industry as clinical nutritionists or doctors in clinical nutrition that we can't do all these tests, through insurance, and it becomes a pretty expensive thing. But when it comes to athletic performance, these athletes are willing to spend the extra buck, to get to the level of performance that they want to be at. As far as the paleo diet and our beliefs on that, yes, if you truly look at what it's supposed to be. But you got to be very careful to be using the word paleo diet because the average person in the street thinks it's a high protein, high meat diet. And that's not necessarily what it is. So I become very definitive in that. Some people, we find that they do better on, a higher plant-based diet with less protein, and we can pick that up in genetics, we can pick that in the symptomology from their digestive tract. But if you're referring to the paleo diet and what my beliefs in on that to pull away from the foods that are sprayed with glyphosate, yeah, then 100%, that's associated to that. But I wouldn't say that, the Paleolithic diet in the traditional sense that people on the street look at it is what we promote. What we do promote is a whole food balance between phytochemical rich, phytonutrient rich, fiber rich, colorful foods in conjunction with oils and fats and proteins. Well, supplement to me is always what the word means, supplement in addition to, right? So if you evaluate a person's diet and they are on a standard American diet, as we would call it, a pretty bad, high processed, high carbohydrate, refined carbohydrate diet, your need for supplementation is going to be greater, right? Because you're not going to have the level of nutrients in there that you should be, and you're also not feeding the gut biome the right prebiotics to be able to produce and enhance the uptake of these nutrients that you're putting into your system.